Azuria has a way of finding the thing you're most afraid of and placing it directly in front of you. Not cruelly, almost kindly. As if to say, here it is. Now look at it properly. I was afraid of the dark, of open spaces, of things too large to comprehend. Azuria introduced me to all of them. There were canyons on Azuria that redefined the word ancient. Not old, not historic. Ancient, as in, before time had been properly organized. I stood at the edge and looked down. The bottom had its own weather. Rivers of liquid amber light flowed somewhere below, indifferent to everything above them, including me, especially me. There were islands that floated? I want to be precise, not metaphorically, not poetically, literally floated. Enormous masses of rock and ancient forest hanging in the air above a cloud sea, connected by bridges made of something between vine, rope, and optimism. I should explain my other fear. Open spaces. The kind where you look in every direction and there's nothing to hold on to with your eyes. I know what you're thinking. I stood at the last trees, and the space looked back. The Azurian plains were gentler than expected. There were hills, not close, but visible, distant ridges my eyes could land on before dealing with the sky. I walked out and stopped, walked further, and stopped again, like testing ice. The grass was completely unbothered by the space surrounding it. I was working on it. The desert began without announcement. One moment there was ground cover. The next there was sand. The dunes near the edge were still comforting in their way. They had height, shape, definition. They were walls of a kind. I knew the dunes ahead were getting smaller. 5-kilometer trees. Not a 5-kilometer forest. Individual trees, 5 kilometers tall. I walked between them and felt something I had not expected. For the first time, large things were not indifferent to my presence. They were sheltering it. The heart of Azuria is visible through a fissure in the planet's crust, the living core, vast and luminous, and slowly moving. I stood at the edge and looked down. The megalophobia looked down with me. Then, quietly, without announcement, it let go. Some things are simply too large for fear to reach. The night garden only existed in darkness. In daylight, bare stems, nothing remarkable. At night, hundreds of flowers that bloomed only without light. Each one a different bioluminescent color. I sat in the middle as it opened around me and thought about all the night gardens I had missed, because I kept the lights on. The Azurian ocean at moonless night had no visible surface, only where bioluminescent life below provided light, patches of water glowing from below, surrounded by complete darkness. I sat at the bow and understood. Darkness was not the problem. Darkness was the depth of things. Light was the surface. The sea here was red, dark, bioluminescent crimson, with black sand shores and a sky that turned purple above it. Everything felt wrong until it felt completely right. I sat on the black sand watching the red tide and understood. I had been taught my whole life what beautiful was supposed to look like. Nobody mentioned beauty, doesn't ask permission.